Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Netopak, and welcome to the Magic Grove, our weekly chat every Friday with the most magical guests on the planet. Today, I have an incredible guest and an incredible topic, Lina Ogima, who is a spirit channeler and a psychic who is coming to us from South America, one of my favorite places in the entire world. Hi, Lina. First of all, how are you?
Hi, doing fine. So honored to be here. Thank you for having me,
Oh
Kristen.
gosh. Well, I see you just like fondled your teacup and it matches your outfit, which I
Oh
love. So
yeah.
I want to talk about your tea. Tell us what you're drinking.
Oh yes, it's lemongrass, my favorite. And
Ooh.
and it's a special cup. It's a Gryffindor mug.
Yes. We've got
Yes.
the nerds in the house today, a fantasy nerd right here. So
Yes.
love it.
It's on purpose.
Okay, but I got to ask you then, why did you choose Gryffindor?
Oh yeah. Oh well, I've done tests on Pottermore. I'm a Gryffindor, but like I've always identified with it and I really love it. And I want to bring bravery into my life. So it's like kind of an inspiration and an identification. Yeah, sort of
I
both.
love it.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, and I just
Adorable.
love Harry Potter
Oh yeah.
and magic. Come on, we're on the Magic Grove
Oh
right
my
now.
God. Yes. Love
Who
magic.
who doesn't love magic? Well,
I
channeling
know.
is magic, talking to
I
spirit is magic, opening up. That is our topic for today. And it is a topic that's super close to my heart because I am also a channeler. And
know.
and this is one of those episodes where I searched high and low. I said, okay, yes, these people do this and I know this, but I need somebody that channels spirit. This is the episode I've been wanting to do for so long. And then I found you and here you are, and we're having this conversation. So I would love for you to just give us a little bit of background on who you are and what it is that you do and what magic you bring to this world.
Oh, I love how you word it.
It's the truth.
Well, well, a bit of background. Well, spirituality has always been a very fun topic for me because I didn't grow up in a religious family, so I had no strict rules or anything regarding that. So it was really organic, but also I was really lost because I had no really parameters, anything like that. And so it took me to go to college and I must have been 21 or something like that, and I got introduced to Buddhism by a really dear friend, and then we started meditating with mantras, and it was just a whole new world for me, and it was so nice, so good. And I also started to watch videos by Spirit Science on YouTube and got into that and learned about so many different things, spirit guides, other planets, dimensions. And it was just so much fun for me. So fun and spirituality was always very, very tied together, which is very good. And I started doing the work, right? I was also very lost at college at that time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Had started arts college, but had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I started to work a lot on that sense, like shadow work, integration processes. And my favorite spiritual teacher is Teal Swan. And she got me into the path of like self-healing and integration, self-love. And so I did all of that. And that's, well, my introduction to spirituality. And after that, after a few years of doing that, and going to see Teal Swan in a workshop at New York, I met Brad Warrod, one of your guests here as well.
Also my cousin.
I
We're
know,
family. Hi, Brad.
I
He's
know,
watching.
I know, hi. And he became like one of my best friends in the world, and we're
Hmm.
friends to this day. And he's the one who got me to meditate every day. And I resisted it a lot in the beginning, but it was consistent. And he was also consistent, and he was consistent in my life. And so he helped me through that. And we did a lot of channeled meditations. I discovered it was my favorite kind of meditation to do. and guided meditations, right? And I did a lot of Melanie Beckler's meditations, and she channels angels and archangels and ascended masters. And so I got in tune with that energy a lot. And because of that work and also the integration work, I got to really, really get into harmony with those energies, right? And begin to feel it inside me. And so I had to go to the process of finding my voice of intuition and then discovering I could actually hear another voice inside me, which was not myself. And then the whole channeling began. And it was very fun. I began doing it with friends. And I realized I could do it for other people as well. And that's why I started doing what I actually do. And I, I talked all of this to get to that now I do channeling work. And I channel people's spirit guides. And there are a lot of angels and archangels that come in because I'm used to talking to them as well. And so I do that. I offer that so that people can have the possibility to talk with their spirit guides and have a conversation. I call it talking with your guides, because you can just talk with them and have a, chit chat. It doesn't have to be formal at all. And I like that, to be fun and organic. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's absolutely how I see it. As first you go through that process of realizing I can hear my own voice, I can hear my own higher spirit. And then you start working with the angels and the bigger spirits. And then you start honing in on very specific guides of your own. And then you can begin to hear other people's guides. And really it is being a channel for information, for light. And so that I just wanted to say that because I think some people might wonder, they're watching this topic and they're like, well, what is channeling? And I've heard a lot of people say that and I'd love to hear in your words how you would describe that, because what I get a lot when I say I'm psychic and I channel, people are like, I don't actually know what that means because that's not something that I've experienced. How would you describe that to someone who has no idea what that world is like?
Wow, that's an amazing question. I guess I would describe it as, well, I actually describe it on my website, kind of like being in a meditative state. So you have to get into tune with energies and with your own energies and with being okay with being in your body and feeling things first. So if you feel the warmth of a tea in your stomach, that's a feeling, that's a physical thing that happened that you feel in your stomach, but you can also feel that without having any physical thing happening, just energy, right? The sun, the warmth of the sun and stuff like that. So by beginning to tune into that, you realize it's a feeling, and it's kind of etheric because you can describe it, but you can't really, you really only know what's going on if you have the experience yourself. That's why it's difficult for other people who don't experience to know what it's like. But it's pretty close to that, at least for me, which is opening up and feeling the energies. And that's the fun thing about the universe. When we call in the energy of somebody's spiritual guides, they come. It's like,
yes,
and with
they
their
do.
permission, they come. So it's like, if you call them when you're praying or anything, they call, they come. And then you can get into tune with that, little by little, and feel it in your body. I would feel it like that. I would feel it like that. I would say it like that. But then to channel and actually word the things is a very, very allowing state. And that's all, just being really, really allowing. And that you get through meditation. But I guess people can get that from other places as well. And for me, it's meditation. So just allowing. And that's how they come. And it's pretty magic if you really talk about it that way. But Yeah.
Well, this is the Magic Grove, and I've said in so many different episodes that magic is personal power plus intention. But in order, and this is something we're going to talk about in a minute, in order to create that intention and really put that energy out into the world, your body has to be an open vessel for you to accept. Like you said, that allowing, you have to allow the energy to flow through you so it can flow out of you in either a transmuted way or in an intended way. And that's how I feel about it as well. When I channel is I feel it in my body, and it's almost like this vibration, like my body is vibrating and I just start saying things. I don't know where it comes from, right? You don't know what you're saying. And a lot of times I don't even remember it after the fact, which is what I love. I have a whole conversation with the client and then they're like, hey, that one thing you said a week ago. I'm like, I don't even know what I said 5 minutes after I did this. And I'm curious if that's your experience as well, because you know that the messages are coming through you.
Mm-hmm.
And well, actually, here's a better question. When the messages come through you, do you have clients that are like, okay, are you telling me that? Or is that coming from spirit? And how do you work with explaining it to them that no, these messages are actually just I'm open, they're flowing through me and they're coming for you because you are the one that's asking for this information?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I'm in session and they start to refer to me like, okay, so Lina, I have this question, blah, blah, blah. Internally, I'm like, well, you're asking your guides, but no worries. Like you can call it whatever you want, right? But I don't want to stop in the middle of the session to give that explanation.
Yeah.
So long they're getting the message, I guess it's okay. But I would it would be good for me to put that information out because that's the truth. It's coming in and it's this allowing process, right? But I always tend to remember it. And that's something I personally I didn't personally chose that, but I personally chose to not incorporate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there's a limit within me that is like, okay, I don't want to lose completely control or, you know, of myself. And I know that everybody comes back after incorporating, but I still don't feel comfortable enough to do that. So it's funny because my spirit guides, who I completely credit all of this to, the ability to do this, the possibility of doing this work. Of course, I did all my work and I can't not credit that. But anyway, it's this fine line I want to remember. I kind of do, but I don't hold it. I don't hold it in because it's way too much information to hold in. So that's it. I forgot the question.
No, but that's a beautiful answer because I almost see it as a way of spiritual therapy. But we are not licensed doctors. We're not claiming to be medicine women or psychiatrists by any means. But it is the same feeling where you go in to see a therapist and you are allowing the patient to speak and to come to their own conclusions. Well, in this case, you're allowing their spirit guides to come through you to speak to them, and then you leave it at that. And I'm curious, when you are through channeling, because I think this is something that a lot of people do have to learn, is the release process and the clearing process of not only the spirit guides that you were working with, but the person's energy, the client's energy. Now, do you have a process or ritual that you go through after you speak with a client to kind of clear that energy out and come back to yourself?
Yes, well, that's something I'm learning to do. Because I just began doing this job and I'm like, I'm calling it a job because right now it's my main source of income, right? And it's like work as well. And I'm so grateful for that. And so I'm learning that I really, really, really need to take care of myself in the middle. And so I really need to ground myself. After a day of sessions, I really, really need to ground myself. Mm-hmm. Taking a shower is good. I also ask for help from my guides to like release whatever it is that I don't need to have hold in my body because of it. But usually it's fairly natural after the session that I'm already like, okay, I'm back. I'm back, my life, stuff. But I have to take more care of that because I'm becoming exhausted at the end of an entire week of something like that. And so I need to ground, I need to go to nature, I need to meditate, I need to eat well because I don't take well enough good care of my body. And I'm discovering that through this work as well. I need to take care of my vessel. Oh my God. So eat well, sleep well, go to nature and ground. That's very important.
Oh, absolutely. Those should be in everyone's repertoire, whether you're channeling or
I
not. Just
know.
being a human being, right? This grounding is everything. We are elevating, we are ascending into so much light right now that no matter what you do, you could be a lawyer, you could be a financial consultant. It doesn't even matter. You're a human being on the planet that's ascending. Grounding is so important for everyone. I mean, we see so many people that have anxiety issues and depression, and it's like a lot of times because their energy is just all over the place, or they might be empathetic and absorbing other people's energy. And I think that those of us that do this work, we purposely call upon these other energies. So we kind of are familiar with, okay, well, that's not mine. This is mine. That's not mine. But I think those are really great tools. I want to get into self and taking care of the vessel in a moment, but I have a really important question that Spirit was telling me I really need to talk to you about, because this is big. This is something that when I first opened up, when I first I don't want to say became spiritual, but woke up to my spirituality, I started practicing witchcraft. I started accessing guides and other spirits that became my guides. And I had people come to me who were religious, even if you didn't grow up with this, that were like, you are speaking to demons. Like if you're not talking to Jesus or you're not talking to God or whatever, like you are speaking to demons and you're evil. And I'm curious if yeah, so I can tell
I
by the look
hate
on your
that.
face right now.
Oh my
And
God.
it was so for me, it did not resonate with me because I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm at that point, I'm like, I am speaking to my guides. I know that they are light beings. I feel it. And so I think that's such an important conversation, not only for
Mhm.
your clients that come to you, but for people who are opening up to channeling, to
Yeah.
knowing the difference. Like there are darker energies out there for sure, but you will know the difference. And I'm curious if you have had an experience or what you might tell somebody that's opening up to these energies about telling the difference between high vibrational energies, low vibrational energies, and kind of how to tackle that topic of like, no, I'm not evil. This is magic.
I
This is how
know.
the world works. We can all open up to this power, by the way.
I know. I love that too because I want to bring forth the possibility of, hey, channeling is easy and it's fun. And as you said, it is so important to talk about this because, well, how do you know? And we know because we feel it, right? The
Yeah.
energy of the guides is something amazing and completely positive. It's like the moment I feel the most positive energies ever is when I'm channeling.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to come back
Yeah,
down to earth, isn't it?
I know. It is.
You're like, okay, I guess I'll go back to being a human after this.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wish everything was so easy because when we're with them, the answers, everything they give to the person also in session, it feels like it's easy. It
Yeah.
feels like it's obvious the path that we're going to take and that everything is positive. But they also know that it's not easy to be human. And most of the
Mm,
times they are talking about, you know, there is a lot. You're going through a path and you've been through a lot, but your path is of light. Your path is filled with love, and they are always interested in making us feel love. Their
yes.
eternal, unconditional love that is so amazing. And so there isn't even any room to talk about, other entities or things that would be low vibrational. But what I guess okay, it's a funny thing. And I think I've told this before somewhere, I don't know where. But if you yourself as a human being, you hold so much power, right? For being a human being. And if you yourself tell the universe you don't want to channel bad spirits, you only want to be in tune with attuned or in tune, I'm confused, with light beings, that's actually a rule. You're setting yourself to only do that. So you have all the control always, you know. I know there are people that come in with their psychic channels open, and that's hard for them because they don't know, they're lost. They don't know what's going on. They see things or they hear things. And so they are open to the possibility of lower entities to be around them because they don't know what's going on whatsoever. They don't have anybody to guide them through it. But we hold power, and I know they feel powerless. I had a friend back in the day that she channeled, and she had no idea what to do with that. And so lower entities were present, and she was vulnerable to that. And it's so sad, you know. She had a very tough time with that. And so she began the spiritual practice as well, meditating and everything. But she never understood she had power. She never understood she could say no to them. I'd like absolutely say no to those entities and stuff. And so she was in a very vulnerable position. And I understand that people don't want to be vulnerable. And being channeling is being in a vulnerable state. But we began channeling with our spirit guides, right? And so we had help. And we can ask for that help to do that. We can ask for their help. And everybody has spirit guides and angels and archangels, ascended masters, so many light beings that can help. So if they're afraid and for any reason of channeling or of becoming vulnerable, they can ask for the help, even if they don't know their spirit guides, they don't know how to call them, what name to call them by. You can do it through prayer, through just asking and kind of beginning to have a relationship with light beings, even if you don't see them or hear them, right? So they can protect you. We're here and we're super protected, and we can call them in to protect us and call them in to protect the channel itself, right? The channeling itself. So we're not alone. Oh my God, we're so not alone. And we have the ability to tell them as well, like, okay, spirit guides, my spirit guides are, you know, just help me, help me, protect me. And I want to be in tune with high vibrational energies. And that's the only thing I'm going to channel. And that's something I did. That's something I told them. I only want to channel things that are good, because I don't want to be, you know, what do you call it? I don't know, conversing with low vibrational things or entities. And because of that, I had never channeled anybody that was low vibrational. And of course, doing the work and trying to keep my vibration high as well as I can, because I'm human. I fail. I don't meditate every single day. Like, I fail sometimes, and that's okay. But, you know, I'm always going somewhere with my energy that is higher, and I want to do that because it feels good. So we hold all the power. If there's anything I want to leave there, is that we have all the power and help.
Yeah, you know, that I when you were saying that, first of all, I was getting chills. You're talking about we hold all the power. I was getting chills and my eyes are watering, and I'm like, this is what it's all about. This is why we're having this conversation. This is why we're talking about it, because in our history, people's power has been stripped away. It's such a tremendous level. We are all so oppressed until we realize how much power we really have. It doesn't matter what situation. I always use Nelson Mandela as an example, The man was imprisoned, and if he could channel and he could access his light beings and he could create his own energy, it doesn't matter where he is. It doesn't matter what the external circumstances are. He is safe, he is protected, and he is understanding that he has power. And it is such a beautiful message for you to send to this audience and to those people watching, because it is more empowering to say that than what we were taught. Some of us were taught when we were younger is like, that's evil if you access, anything that's not what this person tells you to access. Or, there's this vision of God where he's all almighty and he's down there, up there judging you. That's just such a disempowering message for people. And and throughout history, I think we're seeing now in 2020 how many structures are in place that are trying to take our power away and convince us that we are powerless. And this right here, sitting anywhere in the world, unless you're literally, this might be the case, but unless you're literally unconscious or dead, you have access and power to these light beings, to these other energies, to information that you don't have to look outside of yourself for. It's there. And I love that message that you brought to this show today is, first of all, that we do have the power. So when you're opening up to these gifts, you have all the control to have boundaries saying light beings only, dark energies. There's sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night after a dream and I feel dark force around me and I wake up and I'm like, get the fuck out. I literally say that and they're gone. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how you got in. Maybe I was having a bad day. I don't know, but get out, and boom, gone.
That's it.
So I've never channeled them, but I've definitely, or you're around somebody that's covered in them and you feel it and you're like, you put the wall up and you're like, do not even come near me. And they know, and they won't.
Yes.
You have the power. But what I think this extends to is that not only do you have the power to have those boundaries, but that this is such a beautiful way to get information that you do not have to access anything else for. Like you have a team, like you said, you're never alone. You have a team not only that loves you, because self-love is such a big thing that we're all going through right now. Loving ourselves, we're always looking outside of ourselves for love, but also for information, for the answers. It's always there. They're always there to tell us. But I will say this, throughout our journey, and I would love to hear your experience on this, we're not always given all of the answers, right? So we tune in and we channel you know exactly what I'm saying. We tune in and we channel in and we go, okay, I need to know this. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to tell you that right now. So what is your experience with like trusting that we're given what we can handle at the time? And that feeling of like, I don't have all the answers, but I have to just open up to this anyway and trust that I'm safe and that I don't need all of the answers. That's such a big thing, especially when you start channeling. You're like, I know everything. No, wait a minute, I don't know everything. I'm not allowed to know everything.
Oh my
What's
God.
that experience been like for you? I could tell. We could tell.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love that you brought that up, because we want to know everything. And I think we become channelers because we're like, tell me this, tell me that. So help me with this.
Every day I'm with my cards like, I know I've asked you this question 800 times in this one day, but I'm going to ask you again with a different deck.
That's it.
And they're still like, here's the same answer, or yeah, no. You're gonna have
exactly. Or like, stop asking. You already got the answer.
Exactly. You're like, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. Yeah, such fun, because I love it, because I have to become more trusting because of that. I have to trust that the universe is doing their work, the spirit guides are doing their work to help me, and they are helping everybody. And so I just had to become trusting. So many times I have answers that are like, we can't tell you that now. We just can't. And I get frustrated, okay, but I have to move on. And exactly that, trust. And it's beautiful, because I do feel like we became channelers because we're looking for answers through the universe, no matter where it comes from, constantly, right? We're seekers. And that's wonderful. But they're also teaching us to be like okay, chill. You're human. You're going through the path. You're not allowed to know everything, because they don't also want to take the joy out of everything.
Yes.
The joy of
Yes.
discovering, the joy of finding things out on our own and going through our path. And this is something that I have to talk to myself every time about it. But becoming okay with uncertainty and not knowing is part of life, just a very big part of life. So even if we're seekers and are trying to find answers everywhere, we still have to be a little bit patient.
A little bit.
Yes,
More
a
like
lot.
a lot of it, wink.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. But that's good. I mean, they're also helping me and helping the people in sessions to be like, okay, we are sharing this. We cannot give you the answer to that you asked, but be sure that everything is being worked out in order for you to get to there, you know. So it's very beautiful. And I'm always so grateful for that as well, because they are interested in us discovering self-love. They are interested in us becoming our own masters, right? And they want to help us along the way. They're almost like, well, man, I'm here waiting. Like, ask of me things, or help me help you. We're here for that. And we are so disempowered, taught to be disempowered somehow, like, oh, I can't ask for the things that I want, because that's asking too much. They have so much going on, and they're like, oh no, you have to ask us to participate in your life. Otherwise we can't really work our things in with full force. So they're waiting to be called to help. And they have those lessons that are kind of bittersweet for us as well sometimes, but always with the highest and best of intentions.
I love that. And that, I think that's a note that I want to make sure everyone very clearly hears, is that, first of all, you don't have to be a channeler to access your spirit guides. Everyone has access to the angels, the spirits, the energies of the universe, but you do have to ask. When we come down here as humans, we have free will, and that's because they are not allowed to interfere unless it is an emergency. You might be in a situation where you might die, and then they jump in and like, cool, I'm taking the wheel for a hot second to make sure that you're safe. But other than that, there are those situations that are not going to kill us. They are there waiting, but we do have to ask, and we have to give them permission to step in and help. But once we do, boom, the answers are there, the help is there, the love is there. And I think that's something that's really important for a lot of people to hear, is that it doesn't matter who you are, every single human on the planet has that team that is here very specifically helping them. And also to remember that as souls, because I love it, you're talking about the human experience. As souls, we know everything. We know everything. We knew kind of what was going to happen ish before we even came here. There's alternate timelines happening. But if we knew everything on this planet, it would ruin the human experience. We came here to this earth to have that experience, to learn how to love. If we came here knowing all the answers, there would be no point. So I always see that experience as like, hey, we came here to do this. And when we're done, we're going to go back to being these all-knowing souls. So why not enjoy this experience while it's here, right?
Oh yes.
Yes. So I would love to dive into, we had a conversation about, when we did our pre-chat about the vessel. And so I know in my experience, I did not grow up with these gifts, and I think you said the same. And I feel for myself that I was just not in a position in life to take on this responsibility, and my body wasn't ready for it until a certain point where it was like, okay, you're ready. These gifts need to come online. And I think part of that was not only all of it, well, part of it is like all of the mental work, growing up with certain traumas, growing up with a lot of conditioning, but then also all of that just kind of resides in our bodies. And we have to clear our minds and clear our bodies to become these clear vessels in order to hear spirit and access spirit, so that all of this junk isn't getting in the way. So it's like, if spirit tells me, here's this person you're going to meet and you're going to fall madly in love, and I have love issues that I haven't healed, I'm going to be like, nope, not believe it. And I'm going to go start choosing all the wrong partners again. So I do believe we have to be clear to a certain point. And there are people that are born with this. But I know for you and I, we had to clear our vessels to a certain point to be able to access these gifts. And then once we knew they were there, it's like, okay, and now we have to maintain that all the time. So that goes into self-care, such a big topic. Earlier, you talked about having all these clients and then needing to self-care to get rid of the energy and sort of come back to yourself. We were just talking before the show about our bodies hurting, about sometimes, the light codes are flying in and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to take a week off because I need to sleep after inhaling all of this energy. So what has been your experience with clearing your vessel, and not just the self-care maintenance, but removing the thoughts, removing the traumas? A lot of times when we open up to these gifts, we realize like how much conditioning we have embedded into our minds and our bodies that we have to clear. And that is the process of awakening itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that you said all of that. Yes, because I was talking in my background story how spirituality worked in my life, and part of why I am able to channel now is because I did so much work on trauma releasing, on understanding that I don't have to run from my emotions. They are here to help me navigate through life, right? And I have to say this, Teal Swan, my favorite spiritual teacher, right? She has a process that's called the completion process, in which you yourself can heal your traumas by going back to past trauma and doing that work. Or you could ask a facilitator to do it with you, but you are doing the work. The facilitator is just there to help you and hold space for you. But oh my God, I needed to do that at least 50 times to get to where I am today. And so there was so much healing that needed to be done. And what's the greatest part of all this is that by doing trauma healing, I go to therapy sessions as well. All this spiritual work, shadow work, belief systems, revising belief systems, and clearing yourself from them, all of that, it helps, and it makes your life a little bit better every time. So it's hard, it's not easy to go in, to feel the negative emotions we feel, to feel the trauma, to go through all of that. But at the other side of that is just so wonderful. And every time you're getting a little bit more integrated and a little bit more integrated, and you can feel a lot more love in result because of that. So many people, I guess, are afraid of diving in because they are afraid of their own emotions. And we grow up in a society where we believe we have to be happy all the time, or just, work towards success and then we'll be happy. But oh my God, there's so much more to life, and there's so much more to this integration process in which we become who we actually are, right? And not what everything else or the external world put into us, or even our families, right? Mostly our family, actually. but anyway.
Our families are our biggest teachers. The people that
They
are
are.
closest to us, hurt
They
the
are.
most, they're our biggest teachers. I love
Oh,
that.
definitely. I wouldn't be here also if I hadn't been shown so much of the things that I needed to clear out of the way that did not resonate with me, right? So this process is hard, but it's so good and so positive, and something that nobody can take away from you. So
Mm.
any therapy, any awakening, any shadow work, belief, releasing, and that trauma work that you do, you're coming into contact with yourself. And I know there are several ways you can do that, and people resonate with different things. But doing that is so worth it. And that's what made me come here. But okay, so there's the shadow work. There's a lot of shadow work, and there's the light work, right? And so the meditation and feeling the energies, such amazing energies, channeled energies, really balanced it out for me, right? Because otherwise it would be, my God, I'm depressed, which I think I was for a long period. But oh my God, I'm depressed. Like there's so much I need to fix about myself. And fix is a heavy word, because we're just coming into contact with who we are. We're not fixing anything, right?
Release. That's a good word.
Release.
Release. Yeah.
Yes. So you're releasing a lot of things. And if you just if you just think or become too close or rigid with shadow work, and you don't have the light work, you're gonna feel smashed, right? You need the light work to feel like, oh my, okay, I'm not alone. Okay, these energies are helping me. Meditating helps me, and just allowing and relaxing as well helps a lot. So it's both of those things. Yeah.
So beautiful. And what I love that you pointed out was, yes, the need for both. So I think
Yes.
if you take someone that is just coming to their awakening process, a lot of times we feel something's not right in my life, something's missing, this is not what I'm meant to be doing, I'm feeling heaviness in the body. That's a lot of times. And by the way, I think we said this in another episode, that we could have gone through some major trauma in our life, or it could just be a collection of little things. Somebody laughed at you, or somebody said this to you and made you feel bad. And all of these conditions, and plus like a lot of the things in our subconscious that we're seeing in advertising and the government, these messages in social media that are constantly coming at us that we might glimpse at and our subconscious picks up. All of these things are there. And in order to clear them, the path is also like, so they're there and we might not know that they're there, but they are there, and they are creating this unhappiness in our life, this disease, right? I mean, dis-ease is the word. But when we clear them, it almost feels worse because we have to actually feel these things. A lot of times they're either in our subconscious. It could even be in a past life that we are not even aware of that's coming up. It could be in our DNA and our ancestral bloodline. And these are all of the number of different things that we clear that we might not even be aware of. So as we start going through that clearing process and we want to choose a more spiritual, open, light path, and we want to be happy, it sometimes almost feels even more detrimental because these things come up and we have to feel them in order to release them. And so for anyone, that's why it is hard, because a lot of people that go through this are like, wow, like I thought, the depression comes in like, oh my God, I don't want to what happened in the past to happen again, or anxiety about the future. But I love what you said, is that it's not just about that pain. And by the way, what I'm saying is the pain is coming up to be released. It's not coming up because it needs to stay. It needs to actually go. But I love that you said is that, tying back to our spirit guides, we have a whole team of people here that are waiting to hold the light, that are waiting to shower us like, okay, today you're going to release this. But guess what? By the time you go to sleep tonight, we're going to be showering you with love if you ask us to. And we're going to help you feel good. And so as you move and as you clear, right, you are not only releasing the pain, but then you're feeling into I don't want to say the future because it's the present, but you're feeling like, wow, this is how amazing it's going to be once I clear all of this. And I don't want to give one of those statements of like, I'm going to be happy when, but in the case of spiritual awakening, you do have to go through the rite of passage of clearing. And it is a vast difference from the beginning to we're never really over, we're never really done, but there is a window of time, I feel, that is like the mass time of when a lot of that junk comes out, and we all have that window. Entire life is the experience, but we all have that chunk where like, woo, those 2 years, I thought I was going to die, and we might have these suicidal I'm not laughing at this, but we do have these suicidal tendencies, the depression, the anxiety. We do feel like we're going to die. But doing that work and coming out on the other side with your guides, with that help, is so worth it, isn't it? I mean, that's
It
really what you're
is.
getting at. I'm just repeating what you're saying, but it's so worth it. And I would encourage
Yes.
anyone to do that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
uh,
Oh, can I add something?
Absolutely. Add as
Yeah.
much as you want, girl.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't need, I mean, their help, channeled meditations, and their energy is always, 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 always available. Yeah, like you don't need to really necessarily go through meditation on YouTube to find that. But that's an amazing tool. And there's a lot of free stuff available
Yeah.
nowadays. But you can just, before sleeping, ask your guides to shower you with love or help you have a nice sleep and a restorative sleep. And that's it. And they are there to help. And so you also don't need to be in a specific path or part of your path. You don't need to be, we're never going to be perfect, right? The perfect is a very terrible word, but we think we have to be perfect in order to call them in or to have help or anything like that. I know I did, but they are always there. So even if you're down, depressed, or feeling like you're unworthy, you can ask for their help. And they're gonna come. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. So it really, really just keeps getting better, because the more you release, the more you can feel it without having that heaviness inside you. So it just keeps getting better. So, I mean, why wouldn't you do it? It's so good. It feels so good to have their energies come in and allow them to work that way with us. And they're so eager to help. I think I even have to, you know, better this part of my life, really allow them to work and allow them to be present and help me in my human reality. Because sometimes I'm so focused on, okay, I need to make this work. And then I realize, okay, I'm not alone doing this. I can ask for the help. And then I remember, and then I do, okay, I'll ask for the help. And then everything kind of flows a little bit smoother. So they're so there. We just have to ask for their help.
And this goes back to what you were saying, is the allowing process. We hear the words trust and surrender all of the time.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I believe this is the truth, is it is a co-creation process. We don't do this alone. We have a team. We are not abandoned on this planet. Sometimes when you wake up, you feel like abandoned because you're like, wait a minute. Now that I realize that my family is actually out there, why did they leave me here? Why am I here? But we're never alone. And it is a co-creation process, not just with the energies of the universe and our energies, but we have that whole team. It's like being a football team, right? We don't win the game alone. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah. You don't win the game alone. You have your whole entire team there. You just might be the quarterback that's on earth doing XYZ and maybe in the spotlight. But I want to talk a little bit about your self-love journey, because we talked about self-love, and I do feel that as this human experience expands, I feel we are all here for a destiny, for a reason. And that doesn't need to be something huge like I need to be a celebrity and do all this humanitarian work. We're all here for a different reason. We all wrote our own human experience, and it might be like, I want to be a mother of these beautiful children, or I want to help animals, whatever it is. I just want to be a really great best friend or listener. Whatever it is, we came here for that experience. There's no such thing as big or small, but I do believe that we all came here to learn self-love as a human. And that is the one thing that unifies us, because we are realizing as we move into this fifth dimension that we are all one, that what one person feels, the collective feels. And we are trying to raise that vibration to the level of love, so that whatever experience we chose, whether you're a channeler or a writer or a football player or an actor or a mother, your experience is filled with as much light as possible from the collective. And I feel that there is that personal experience and there's that collective experience. And right now, what we are going through on this planet with the pandemic and all these things that are happening is raising the vibration so that the collective experience can support these individual beautiful experiences at a higher vibrational level. I would love to know what you feel about that, what your beliefs are, and any of the experiences that you have had moving into this place of self-love and love in the collective sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, it's big. It's really big. Yeah, because we are taught to love other people and to be kind to other people and accommodate their reality, sort of. But at least that's how it happened for me. And I think it's a common thread, right? We're taught to love other people and be kind to other people, but we are not taught self-love. We're not taught to be kind to ourselves and our experience. And so I think this is so beautiful because there are so many light workers on this earth right now that are awakening people to the fact that we so completely need to love ourselves. And I completely agree with you. That's what makes everybody meet, right? We all do. We all have to do that, because in order also to have a loving experience and really be whole into yourself, and to try and be whole with another person in a loving relationship, you have to take care of yourself first, always, because otherwise you're giving love from an empty cup. And so you're giving love feeling empty and feeling the need of, wait, I'm giving out something that I don't even have for myself. So it feels bad to give. And I have that a lot in my experience because I'm a giver, okay, but I was taught to be a giver way more as well. So I'm in the process of understanding of like, okay, it's not selfish to do self-love because we're all one. So if I'm giving myself love, I'm giving love to the universe as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's a very big process of trying to fill my cup. But there are people and there are light beings everywhere that are wanting to love us, right? And we can allow them to really, really come into our lives as well. So I don't know, for me, at least in my journey, the self-love process was of, okay, so self-love is not selfish. It's okay to do. Self-care is okay. And also opening up to people that I know love me, but I never really felt it because I wouldn't allow myself to feel it as well. I wouldn't allow myself to feel love because I was so afraid of losing it. So that's a particularity in my experience, but I think people can relate. I was so afraid of not having love and losing it that I never even allow it in the first place. So that's something I guess we are always constantly doing, self-love and practicing and asking ourselves, okay, is it self-loving for me to drink a cup of tea today or to drink coffee? Is it self-loving to go out in nature today, or do I go see my friend? All of that is a process every day we're doing, and that it becomes a little bit easier the more we realize and the more we release all the other beliefs that are, hacking into our system and making it difficult to practice self-love, right? So it's a journey. It's a beautiful journey. It's a long journey, everyday journey for us, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
I love that you shared that because I don't think you are alone. I think the majority of the human beings on this planet do not open to receiving love. We all want love. I mean, that's why I say it's the unifying factor. Love is why we're here.
Yes.
We as souls feel this universal love, but we wanted to come here and have the human experience and feel it here as well, with all of the physicality that we get along with it, the love of nature, the love of being with another human being, of hugging, of touching. You know, we have all these things, the love of creating art, of being with animals, being able to pet them, even all of these things combined. So I don't feel that you're alone. I do feel that the majority of the human beings on this planet have the tendency to, we were all taught to give, and that's that power struggle, that because when we're giving, somebody is taking that love, right? And sometimes it's not always a good person or a good entity.
I know.
So we are taught to be selfless. We are taught to be martyrs. We are taught to give everything we can. But you're right, we are not taught to be open to receiving. In fact, there are many areas of society that say that is selfish, when in reality, I love what you said. You reiterated perfectly what I said, and then you said it again. By loving ourselves, we are in turn loving the universe and putting that love out to the universe. And I believe that that is the next 10 years of the human evolution, is learning that that is truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not selfish to love yourself. And by loving yourself, everyone else around you gets to feel that love, because you, like you said, you're filling your cup. And when you fill your cup, you are able to give that to other people freely and not feel empty. So that is just so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And by the way, you guys, I know I'm so sad we're at the end of the show. So I'm going to ask you for your last words of wisdom. But before I do, while you think about that, obviously, Lina is a channeler. I feel you are here as a guide because so many people do want answers and they are just not able to hear it, or they're not clear enough to be able to access that. But there are so many messages that are waiting for so many people to hear from their spirit guides. I see like all the spirit teams lining up around you, like, okay, we're going to try to get our client, or you're going to try to get this person to come to you as a client so that we can finally tell them what to do. And that is the beauty of what you do, is that you allow people access to the information that was there all along. They just might not have been able to hear it. And so you have such a beautiful job. I am so grateful that you chose to open up to this line of work. It is work. It is officially a job being a channeler. We're allowed to make money out of people because these are our gifts, just like being a football player is a gift. This is a gift as well. And I'm so grateful for you. So I wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to be posting Lina's link. So you can go to her website. You can book her for a session if you need to. I think many of you are going to be sitting here feeling called to get messages from your spirit guide. So she is here to do that. Before we go, I would love to know if you have a last bit of wisdom that you would like to leave the audience and the world and the people that are watching this video right now, or possibly 20 years in the future, whenever it is that they hear this message.
No pressure. Well, oh my God. What do I want to say? Okay. Well, your path, your life, everything you've done so far, even if you don't think that is giving you the results you want or the dreams you're dreaming of, even if you think you're not doing it and you're feeling lost, or you're feeling like you failed, or like you tried everything and you don't know where else to turn, you haven't failed and you haven't really gotten lost. You have to go through that as an experience, and it's part of your experience to get to the other side, to get to the other side of your dreams, to get, you know, the fulfillment and the happiness and all of that. And not as a goal. You will have earned it. And so all the path that you're doing, if you're feeling like you've lost something, or that you're never going to get there because you feel so away from those dreams and that abundance or that happiness or that love, it's all part of your path to get there. It never wasn't. So I don't know, I want to encourage people to trust that they are being guided somehow as well, by themselves, by their higher self, by their intuition, by their heart, but they are being so helped and so loved all the time, every time, by the universe, by their spirit guides, by so many light beings, that their sole purpose is to help us get to exactly where you want to be. So trust that even if society, or even if you created something in your head of what the path should look like, is not necessarily, most likely is not the path that you're going to take to get everything you want. So it's a trusting process. And if it's hard to trust now, it's okay. But just know that you can call in help from the astral, from the spiritual realm, to help you get there and help you get help from other people, books, workshops, anything, because everyone in our reality can be guides and angels as well, and they definitely can be channeling something for you even though they don't know they're doing that. So you can get help from literally anywhere. And basically all you need to do is call with your heart, and you will be getting that, even if it's in the physical reality, or if it's an insight that comes to your mind, it's going to come. You're not alone. And we're in this together, because if we are here, right, me and Kristen and so many light workers are here, it's because we went through a path as well, and it wasn't easy. We didn't get here made, we didn't get here, we weren't done. We created it. We went through a path to get here. So we are on this together. We are on this boat together, and that's why we want to help, because we are a little bit closer maybe to the other side, but then it just means that you can also do it, because we did it. It wasn't easy, so you're not alone.
Oh, I love that. I love what you just said, is when you're looking at your dreams, that was never not what was going to happen, even if you don't think that. And girl, we were forged by fire. I mean, the spiritual path is not easy at all. I really think of like Daenerys, for you Game of Thrones fans, walking into that fire and coming out with those baby dragons. I mean, that's exactly what it feels like, right? It's not easy, but
True.
you do earn it, and you come out just knowing that you are a light being, and that knowledge of getting rid of everything. It's just, it's such a beautiful experience. I so appreciate you being here with us today. Like I said, everybody, Lina Ogima, I'm going to have her links on all of the videos, whether you are watching this on Facebook or watching this on YouTube later. Definitely give her a shout and book her for a session, because you're probably going to get so much information about your life from your own guides. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I so appreciate your light. I appreciate all of the energy and all of the high vibration that you brought here. And thank you guys for watching. We do this every single Friday on the Magic Grove, live on Facebook. Magic Grove is the page. And if not, you can check this out on my YouTube channel, Kristen Netapak, afterwards. But we do this every week. We always have magical guests, and we have tons of episodes in the past and coming up that you can check out. We would love for you to join us. So thank you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.